Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. And we've got some updates regarding Black Panther's future in the MCU. We've got the sequel coming out. And Kevin Feige appears to be stepping back some of his earlier statements regarding the character of T'Challa in the MCU. It feels like the hashtag recasttchalla movement going on, people demanding the character return to the MCU, is making some headway as we move toward Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I don't think we're going to see the new T'Challa in this film, but it sounds like it will probably happen in the not too distant future. Due to the phenomenon that was 2018's Black Panther, a sequel is always going to be a crucial undertaking for Marvel Studios, but the death of Chadwick Bozeman put the studio in an impossible position as to whether to recast the title character of T'Challa for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. In the end, both Marvel Studios and Black Panther writer-director Ryan Coogler chose to incorporate the death of Bozeman's T'Challa into the film and explore how the cast and Wakanda learned to carry on. It always seemed like a strange decision that initially Kevin Feige was like, we cannot recast T'Challa like in the MCU, but we can kill him off for the next movie. It was like, I don't know, this feels like an iconic character at this point. It feels like a cultural touchstone in modern pop culture, and you probably need the character of T'Challa around. I think he's an inspiration to a lot of people, and the hero Black Panther resonates with new audiences that Marvel Studios, quite frankly, are desperate to go out there and get a hold of. I don't think they anticipated so many people saying, hey, listen, what happened with Chadwick Bozeman dying of colon cancer is absolutely tragic. He was a very young man, just, you know, the heart goes out to the families and everything. But the character of T'Challa is likely bigger than Chadwick Bozeman at this point. He might be too important. It appears Kevin Feige has heard those words and decided to take a different approach. In an interview with Empire, Marvel President Kevin Feige explained why the studio decided not to recast Chadwick Bozeman, saying, it just felt like it was much too soon to recast. Stan Lee always said that Marvel represents the world outside your window. And we had talked about how, as extraordinary and fantastical as our characters and stories are, there's a relatable and human element to everything we do. The world is still processing the loss of Chad, and Ryan poured that into the story. While not quite exactly what the hashtag recast T'Challa people are looking for, that's certainly a far cry from what Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios were originally saying that you'll never see T'Challa in the MCU again. I think they've reconsidered and decided, well, let's just have a little bit of a breath, realize what happened, celebrate Chadwick Bozeman during Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and get through it, and then we'll have a new T'Challa moving forward. I'm assuming that's what all this means, because he's definitely stepping back from his earlier statements. T'Challa is the heart and soul of Wakanda, the Black Panther franchise, and I don't know that you can have a successful Black Panther franchise without T'Challa himself. They've certainly done it in comic books before. Shuri has been the queen of Wakanda, but Black Panther was kind of still there. He was the king of the dead and some other stuff like that. And I believe we've also seen Shuri be Black Panther, like taking over the mantle itself from T'Challa, but that never worked in comic books, and from what we're seeing in the MCU, doing these types of mantle swaps likely isn't going to be successful in the MCU either. Another thing I believe Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios are having to take into consideration are the thoughts and wishes of Chadwick Boseman's family themselves, who certainly have a different approach and feeling about the character of T'Challa than Kevin Feige's initial statements regarding the character after the death of Chadwick Bozeman. Chadwick's brother, Derek Bozeman, stated that he believes the late actor would want the role of T'Challa to be recast in the Black Panther franchise. Derek claimed that Chadwick believed the role of T'Challa was larger than him and was aware of the character's impact and influence on impressionable fans. And to be quite honest with you, I'm glad that Chadwick Bozeman felt that way about the part, because that truly is an important thing in entertainment these days. We don't get a lot of strong male heroic figures these days. We get a lot of kind of goofy, imbecile, doofus male characters that no one would ever want to like live up to and aspire to be. We rarely get really strong male characters, heroes that young boys can really look up to. Obviously, the Black Panther character, T'Challa himself, reaches out even to a new audience of young men that have somebody, a role model that they can look up to within the MCU. And I think that's important. And I'm glad that Chadwick Bozeman thought that way about the character, obviously, before his very untimely passing recently. And it sounds like his family is on board. They believe Chadwick Bozeman doesn't want the character to just go away because he's not here, that the character is bigger than himself. And I think that is probably correct. Although we do know there were at least initial plans that one day T'Challa would not be the Black Panther. They certainly teased it in that teaser trailer at D23 that perhaps Shuri would be taking over the Black Panther mantle. Shuri actress Letitia Wright revealed she already had a chat about becoming Black Panther with director Ryan Coogler and the late Chadwick Bozeman during the first movie's development way back in 2017. She said I had a chat about it with Ryan and Chad when we were making Black Panther, and we touched on it briefly. When I realized I was playing Shuri, it was something that I really look forward to. It's not really surprising that they were already having these plans and conversations, 5 years ago about the direction of the MCU. We've kind of seen it come full circle. Tony Stark's going to be replaced by Riri Williams. Clint Barton's been replaced by Kate Bishop. I'm certain that She-Hulk will eventually replace Hulk. Jane Foster Thor has already been in here. Yes, we were going to get a female version of Black Panther with Shuri playing the role. I think it's probably been the plans, but I really hope they take to heart what Chadwick Boseman's wishes were and what his family has talked about, that there just aren't enough really good, strong role models for young men out there. And to take one away like this does a disservice to young men really everywhere. Black Panther is not an American franchise anymore. It's a worldwide phenomenon. There are young men all over the world that wear Black Panther t-shirts and know who T'Challa is, and know what Wakanda represents, and they look up to the character now. I think it would be foolhardy to put Shuri in the Black Panther mantle like they're doing with all the other heroes in the MCU, which quite frankly, they've already done in the Marvel Comics universe, and it failed there. So I hope that they don't do that. If you're a big Black Panther fan, I actually had my good friend Skip and Tosh on the channel. This was before Chadwick Bozeman passed away, and we talked about what Black Panther meant, all the great creators within comic books, also Chad's performance in there. Definitely check this out if you're a Black Panther fan. Maybe you don't know all the comic book stuff and you want some more history and backstory on Black Panther, where it came from, some of the really influential runs that are out there. If you don't see it here, there's also a link in the video description.